Hi guys, so it has always been Boris Johnson's goal to convince the public that Brexit was a success, even though we know that many industries are suffering at the moment. They can't export or they are struggling under new red tape caused by Great Britain becoming a third country. However, the US was always presented as the prize, the silver bullet to any lost trade with the European Union. The idea being, yes, we have decided to put up barriers with our largest trading partner, but we will make trade easier with the USA. The average person on the street has no idea how much trade the UK has with the EU, how much will now be lost due to Brexit, and how this could be replaced with a US trade deal. However, the Tories are banking on that ignorance. Well, the price of a US trade deal has just moved a little bit further away last week following a report released by the US International Trade Commission. It found US trade deals have had only a small positive effect on America's economic growth. The report presented to the US Congress used 2017 as its base year, where it revealed that trade deals only increased US economic output by $88 billion, which may sound like a lot of money, but in reality is just 0.5% of US GDP. Yet Boris Johnson had hoped during the G7 some weeks ago that he'd be able to push the US president to look to help out post-Brexit Britain. And even though both talked about a commitment to reaching a deal, it seems to have remained just that, a commitment. A sticking point for the US at the moment is a disagreement with the UK over subsidies for aircraft and steel. There has been some movement, a bit limited, on both sides suspending tariffs imposed on each other, but just for 4 months. There's a risk that after that period, tariffs could be reinstated. It seems that the White House is in no mood at the moment to shift focus away from domestic policy to foreign trade policy. The White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said recently, in reference to Joe Biden, and I quote, "I will note that he looks at our global approach, our economic approach. He believes that we need to build the middle class, make sure we're making decisions through the prism of what's going to help the middle class here in the United States." While the Tories may be seeking a trade deal, getting one doesn't mean that things will improve for British industry. We have seen with the Australian trade deal, which Parliament is forbidden from scrutinising, it phased out tariffs that protected British farming. It's likely to flood the UK market with low-quality products from Australia, where environmental and animal welfare standards are lower. Prime Minister Boris Johnson himself, if he's ever to be trusted, said that the Australian trade deal is a template for what the UK wants in the future. So a US trade deal would likely strip away protections in place for industries beyond farming. There is always the threat hanging over the NHS as well, in regards to any post-Brexit American trade deal. Brexiteers have been seeing so few benefits since leaving the European Union, some are so desperate to find a positive that they resort to claiming England's entry into the Euro 2020 final was a consequence of Brexit. Do they see the failure to beat Italy as a consequence of Brexit too? Anyway, as I've said before, I do believe the UK will get a trade deal with the US. Why do I believe that? Well, because one side is desperate to get one. If you're willing to compromise on everything, as is pretty much the case with the Australian trade deal, then the US will be happy to do one too. The argument made by us in the Remain camp that it would take years for the UK to get post-Brexit trade deals, in a sense we were wrong. The UK can get trade deals and lots of them really quickly. The point we were making, if you want better trade deals than you had under EU membership, if that's even possible, well, it takes a lot of time and a huge amount of effort, something Brexiteers both inside and outside government are deeply lacking. One final point that needs to be raised is the fact that the US is clearly dictating terms here. Boris Johnson's government wants a trade deal with the US. The response from the US is indifference at the moment. They could easily get what they want, but they don't even see the bother in that. So much for Boris Johnson and Brexiteers holding all the cards. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee. so why not check it out?